While we don't have the final figures for September just yet, CBP data through August shows a record number of migrant encounters at the southern border for fiscal year 2022. Individuals coming straight from Mexico still account for the majority of encounters, but we've also seen increases in people originating from other parts of the world, including Cuba, Ukraine, India. NewsNation border correspondent Robert Sherman is live for us in Eagle Pass, Texas. And Robert, we can probably guess the reason for the influx of Ukrainian immigrants, but how do you explain why these other groups are now trying to make their way here to the U.S.?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, Nichole. I mean, dispelling that misconception that the border crisis we see here is exclusively a Central and South American issue. I mean, the reality is, Nichole, is that we have seen migrants from over 160 countries of origin here at the southern border, according to Customs and Border Protection. And there are a number of geopolitical issues that are at play here. For example, we show you this video. I mean, this was the video that our team captured when we were in Ukraine earlier this year. And you see all the people who are trying to get out of the country to Poland. The United Nations says there's been about 7 million people who have fled Ukraine. Some of them have ended up here at the southern border, as you attested to, Nichole. But it's not just Ukraine. I mean, you look at a country such as Cuba, which has consistently seen protests throughout the years. They're protesting against the regime. These most recent ones have come in the wake of Hurricane Ian. There are a lot of people who want out of the country for one reason or another. And we have seen a number of Cubans fleeing the island, going to Nicaragua, and then trying to make their way north towards the U.S.-Mexico border. So there's all these different issues at play here. And the experts say that the more people who actually come to the U.S. and are allowed to stay, it creates a bit more of a what they call a magnet effect. Listen to this.
The reality is that people don't come to the United States unless they do have a shot of being able to stay here. And their shot of staying here is much greater if they are not from the Northern Triangle in Mexico, because it's vastly more difficult to deport them back to another continent or somewhere in the Caribbean.
And you look at some of these numbers. So these are a select number of countries of origins that we've picked out for you here. To put into context, Mexico, the #1 country of origin we still see down here on the U.S.-Mexico border. But Cuba, that's been the #2 country of origin this calendar year, over 194,000 in the fiscal year seen here at the border, 25,000 Ukrainians, another nearly 20,000 Russians, then several thousand more Indians, Turks, Romanians. The United Nations only recognizes 195 countries around the world, Nichole. That includes, Palestine and the Vatican. So the fact that you've seen over 160 countries of origin down here, pretty astounding to see those numbers, Nichole.
Yeah, astounding to say the least. All right, Robert, thank you for that. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.